Hey there, my name is Nightlocker MTG, or Ethan, and these are my best and worst plays from the tournament I just won. In round 1, I was in 4th seat against 2 turbo decks, including Dahada in seat 1, who kept first 7. That is not good for me. My game plan when I see that I'm in 4th seat is to just be greedy. I mulligan really aggressively to really good hand, and just try and survive the game, because in 4th seat, your win rate isn't very high, so I'm going to try and be a little bit greedier, and just try and push my advantage more so than caring about what everyone else does. This mindset conflicts with what I'm going to have to do to survive 2 turbo decks, including one who kept first 7. My game plan against that exact situation is going to be just getting the turbo decks to wait. If they wait, I can get back into the game. My hand allows me to cast a turn 2 Rhystic Study because of City of Traders and another land. And so I am hoping to land an early Rhystic Study and use that to just coast through the game and eventually win. But I have to survive all the turns to be able to do so. Here's how the game played out. Drew something inconsequential for turn, played a land, and pretty loudly talked about how I do have interaction. And so if you want to go for it, turbo decks, on your turn 2s, you have to fight through interaction. Oh, you don't want to fight through interaction because otherwise you punt to the other player? Sounds good. You can just wait to combo off on a later turn. So because I talked kind of loudly about how I have interaction up, that and maybe my opponents just didn't keep hands that did anything really scary on turn 2, I was able to Enlighten Tutor on my turn 1. I grab a Rhystic Study. Now here on turn 2 is where I think my most important play of this round happened. I untap, upkeep, drew, Rhystic Study. I showed that I was able to play a turn 2 Rhystic Study. And I turned to the other blue player at the pod and said, listen, I'm in 4th seat, I'm already behind. But I am willing to not play my Rhystic Study if it means I have to hold up interaction to stop one of the turbo decks. If you can show me that you do not have interaction, I will not play a Rhystic Study. I will stifle all of my development and just help us out. After some conversation, because of me asking them, they reveal they do have interaction, disincentivizing both of the turbo decks to go for it and incentivizing me to slam a Rhystic Study down. Because of this conversation, I landed the Rhystic Study, drew a ton of cards, and won right before time in the round was called. That was my best play of round 1, just talking. Round 2, my biggest misplay of the tournaments. I am against 3 turbo decks yet again, and so my game plan in seat 2 is just to win as fast as possible. I mulligan down to 5 cards after looking at unkeepable hands, and I see this. 2 lands, specifically one is a fetch land, LED, Mystical Tutor, Wishclaw Talisman. I keep this hand thinking, I think I can win as early as turn 2. I think I can. Here's my thought process. Draw random card in hand. Fetch land, get Underground Sea. At end step, before my next turn, Mystical Tutor, grab Brain Freeze, draw Brain Freeze, untap, play Command Tower, play Wishclaw Talisman, play LED, crack for 3 red, use one of it to activate Wishclaw, get an Underworld Breach, and now I have access to LED and Brain Freeze. But I do not have enough cards. I would have to exile 3 cards to cast LED, crack it again. I would need then 3 more cards to exile to cast Brain Freeze. If I was on a mulligan to 7, I would be able to high roll, cracking LED, floating 1 blue mana, and casting Brain Freeze with a bunch of targets on myself to either hit Lotus Petal, an offer you can't refuse to win the game on the spot on turn 2. But because this math is so complicated and I was not able to do it fast enough, I kept the hand thinking, I think there's something, I'll try and figure it out. I'll just try and figure it out. So where's the misplay? I would be pretty impressed if anyone saw it. Please let me know if you did see it in the comments. What I should have done was get Underground Sea, end step Mystical Tutor for a Dark Ritual, untap, draw Dark Ritual, cast Dark Ritual, make 3 black, use 2 of it to cast Wishclaw, play Lionside Diamond, still with my 1 black floating left, activate. In response to activation, crack LED, grab Necropotence, cast Necropotence on turn 2. I could have had the turn 2 Necropotence, but I didn't see the line because I was too busy worrying about my really fancy way to win the game. But I didn't see it, and so I'll never know if turn 2 Necropotence was going to be good enough to stop Zerda and win the game on my turn 3. My best plays of round 3 was, number 1, Patience. I played a turn 1 fish, did not get fed that much, and kept it around for 4 additional turns. I had a Mystic Remora out for 5 turns, and it wasn't until turn 6 that I was like, alright, time for the fish to die. I was able to develop a little bit extra, because I honestly didn't think my fish was going to do me much good. My other best play was listening. There was an Atali in the pod, and so many times us players had to discuss what do we have to interact with creatures. Specifically, do we have creature counterspells? And the only counterspell that was ever mentioned was from my friend playing their favorite deck, Walmart Farm, and they said, I have a counterspell, but I'm not willing to use it. I knew it wasn't a force of will pitching a really powerful blue card, because I'm pretty sure they'd be willing to do that anyways. I knew it was a Pact of Negation, and that was the only one, even though my opponents had in completely full hands, like discarding to hand size, full hands, so that when it got to my turn 7, I was able to jam Grand Abolisher and Voice of Victory to win the game. My best play of round 4, you guessed it, was more and more talking. I was playing against a Kinnan player. The Kinnan player wanted to develop a very early Wandering Archaic. I showed them, listen, I can counter this Wandering Archaic, and I'm going to have to, because there is no chance that I can play a game with you having a turn 2 Wandering Archaic against 2 very aggressive decks at the table. And they're like, you know what, I get it. Let me just develop something else later. Because I also alluded to the fact, like, listen, I can deal with the Wandering Archaic later in the game. This early can't happen. So don't play it right now. Otherwise, I'm going to use both of my interaction pieces just to deal with it. They're like, you know what? Kind of fair. I'll do a different gameplay. That allowed me to, on my next turn, cast Wheel of Fortune. And in response to my Wheel of Fortune, the white player silences me. Then I'm able to use my Force of Will to protect the rest of my turn. My Wheel of Fortune resolves, and the graveyard deck discards a terrifying amount of combo pieces, and they do not mind their combo pieces being in the graveyard. I use this moment to go, alright table, I am able to wheel us again. Do we need to do that, or do we have interaction for their turn? Because I don't want to fill up their graveyard even more. And we start talking. The Kinnan player, who starts to wise up, starts saying, I don't want to talk about my hand. I don't want to talk about my hand. My hand, I don't want to talk about my hand. But I am okay wheeling. I don't want to talk about my hand. Basically telling me I have absolutely nothing, but I don't want to reveal that I have nothing. Also, please wheel. The other player at the table said, yeah, I have interaction. And I'm like, I really need to know if you have free interaction, though, because they are tapped out. And so I just ask them, okay, yeah, which pieces do you have? And they showed me 2 1-mana counterspells. And I went, sounds good, cast Underworld Breach. And I won the game. Before I talk about how I almost punted my top 16 game, I want to announce that I am going to be offering CEDH coaching. I am very excited about this because I love CEDH, and teaching is already what I do professionally. I have 2 sets of goals when it comes to my CEDH coaching. One, for the community, make it affordable and bring my teaching expertise to allow passionate players to actually improve based on their sessions. Secondly, personally, this CEDH coaching will help me fund being able to go to tournaments to pursue my goal of making the Invitational this year, and it probably won't hurt buying a couple extra diapers. If you're interested in any of this or want to know more, just DM me on any platform. Discord probably works best. On to the top 16 game. I am going for a Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation, win. But I know there is a ton of interaction at this table, and my goal is to land this Grand Abolisher and have the most protected win possible, because it is very hard to have creature counterspells, and I am trying to push. I have precisely enough mana to cast Grand Abolisher, use 2 pieces of 1 mana interaction, and now combo off. So that is my goal. Here's how it ends up actually playing out, though. I cast Grand Abolisher. My opponents start really squirming. Everyone starts talking about, we do not have a way to stop this. So my friend Eric has to Tainted Pact for a Subtlety. Subtlety is going to stop my Grand Abolisher, unfortunately. When they cast Subtlety, I'm like, I guess I should start just fighting over this. I cast Pact of Negation. My friend Eric passes priority. I'm like, oh, is this actually going to work? And the non-blue player casts Deflecting Swat on my Pact of Negation, which is really frustrating. I now cast Swan Song, which is actually the big mistake. Luckily, after I cast Swan Song, my friend Eric politics the last player in turn order, who has a ton of advantage on board, to, it's your time to interact. I've wasted a bunch of my pieces. It's time for you to go. And they cast their own Offer You Can't Refuse on my Swan Song. I pass priority so fast. Let's resolve all of that really quick. I get 2 treasures. 2 treasures allows me to cast Ranger Captain of Eos when I know there's no other creature counterspells. Ranger Captain resolves, I sacrifice it, and win the game. Where I went wrong, though, was not guaranteeing myself this option. Let's rewind. What I should have done is cast Grand Abolisher. It gets Subtlety. Pact, that's fine. Deflecting Swat, that's fine. Now, I need to go. I do not want my Pact of Negation to resolve. Alright, table. I'm just going to Offer You Can't Refuse my own Pact of Negation. I'm not even trying to let this resolve. Subtlety can deal with it. But I want to stay in the game. So let me Offer You Can't Refuse my Pact of Negation. If I offer I cannot refuse my own spell, that gives me precisely enough mana to cast Ranger Captain once again and combo off with my 3 mana up here. I don't know if this actually resolves. My friend Eric is very good at Magic and probably would sniffed something out. But that is a way I could have guaranteed this win line to take place. If you like videos at this camera angle, I'm going to start posting gameplay from my perspective that I play on the Critical EDH Discord, grinding away to try and make top 16 of the league. If you liked this video, please like the video and comment how I can improve upon it in future episodes. And if you want to watch more of my videos, please subscribe.